Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
Your new album's called Slim Thick.
Yeah.
And my book is called Interlim Dynamics. And here we are.
Here we are.
We're back.
Another episode.
Yeah, it feels
back,
feels like it's been a while.
It does feel like it's been a while. I've missed it. I've found that I crave it in a way. It's almost like a build-up. It's like a build-up of, fuck, I've got to get this out. Maybe it's bile. Maybe it's like a bile build-up.
Yeah, it's a sick feeling of build-up. And you need to vomit it out.
Yeah.
Because I guess no one else in your close life cares.
Yeah.
Elfie, I've got to tell you this. He's like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
He needs to do his podcast.
Yeah.
He needs to be verbally milked.
This is it. She's sending me on another cooking course. Go and talk to someone there about your drums.
Yeah. It's just me and you, baby.
Me and you, baby.
Here we are. Lots to talk about, so let's rattle on through. You start us off, George. What you got for us?
What do you want? Because I mean, we've had a little discussion on what I have to talk about. What do you want first? I gave you. I'll rattle it off with the key titles. Okay, heavy-handed, correspondence, slim, thick, click. Which do you want?
Let's get some correspondence done.
Okay. So correspondence. So in a fairly recent episode, I was discussing using Ableton on gigs and using an SPD on gigs to run tracks, and the differences and the pros and cons of those sorts of things. And when I spoke about using the SPD for the gig I did with Mackenzie,
with Green Day.
With Green Day as well, downstairs.
When you were supporting Green Day in a different room, but yeah.
Supported by a little-known act. And I was talking about the SPD editor software, and basically, do you know what's weird about this podcast? Sometimes you're saying stuff, and as much as I still feel like that we don't have any listeners,
we don't,
kind of,
yeah.
we got a few now, and I always feel like sometimes I'll say something and I'll think, are people listening to this going, oh my God, how did you not know that, you fucking idiot? You're doing a drum podcast and you don't know that. But sometimes I'll say things that I'm like, well, you might not know it. And this
is the beauty, George, because this is our experience in drumming.
Yeah.
It's our experience in drumming, and we're sharing what we know, which people might not be aware of things. You know, we have our experiences. But then there's plenty of other people who have got way more experience and different experiences to us.
Way more.
So what we're trying to do here, we're not trying to, separate people by our differences. No. We're trying to bring it together.
Exactly.
We've got some knowledge, we're lacking in others. Other people have got some knowledge lacking. Let's bring it all together in one
let's make a community.
Let's make a spag bowl and let it reduce. Yeah?
Ooh, mama. So I was talking about the SPD editor software, and Jack Hickling messaged me. I can't find the message, but he was basically like, oh my God, I didn't know that was a thing. I've downloaded it, and this is amazing. This is a lifesaver. Because I think he was doing the same thing I used to do, just get a USB stick, the way of the noughties, and do it that way. Or maybe the teenies. USB, floppy disk. When did floppy disk get taken over by the USB, do you reckon?
Oh, a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, floppy disk was taken over by the CD-ROM.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Classic CD-ROM.
Yeah.
So Jack Hickling, friend of the show, friend of ours, said, oh, I didn't know about that. Thanks for letting me know. And then someone else, Jordan Wright, I'd say a new friend of mine, said, he messaged me, been catching up on all the drumming podcasts because I dropped off them for a while. Was dying inside when you were talking about doing your SPD via a USB. So glad you bought the good editor. So do you know what I mean? Some people have gone, I didn't know about this. Brilliant. And then some people have gone, how did you not know about this?
Yeah.
And then he's given me an insane insight. I still haven't done it yet, into how you can split tracks from an SPD when running tracks live. I'd always thought it was just like You can just send it as one thing.
Just
and that's
one
all you
single
can do.
output to the front of house.
Exactly.
Jordan's saying you're an idiot, and his words, not mine, and saying that you can send separate channels to front
Up
of
to
house, because
4.
the sound engineer at your gig when you headlined for Green Day was, it would be great if I could have these stems separately so I could balance. Ergo, the strings are a bit louder than the synth there, and I could bring that down. So
Exactly.
two breadths of knowledge. You're somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of learning. That comes to us all.
Well, it is the beauty of learning. Well, I'm
Do you know Jordan?
No. Do you know what?
Or is this...
No.
You don't know him?
There's a few... Right. So, Jordan, if you're listening...
I've not seen any of these messages, by the way.
No, I was just telling you this. Because Right.
Just in general, you don't tell me anything.
I've been
chatted.
hustling. I've been hustling hard the past few weeks and just messaging drummers that I'm following.
Emsworth Hustle. Not as good as American Hustle.
And just been going, look, you're a drummer. I'm a drummer. If you need a drummer for any, gigs, let me know.
Yeah.
Because I'm here. Because it's something I haven't really done before. And I just sort of got in touch with him because we both follow each other. And then, he then messaged again when we put out the Georgia episode and said he enjoyed it. And then that's when the conversation started of the SPD stuff. So Jordan's someone I vaguely know.
That's great. Well, thank you for getting in touch.
Yeah, thank you for getting in touch, Jordan. Even if it is being like, what are you doing? No, you didn't say that. Right, I'm going to rattle through stuff.
Yeah, move on. Let's move on. What were the other 3 headlines that I can pick
Slim,
from?
thick, click, and heavy hand.
Let's go click.
Okay, click. So last week, Matt Hector?
Yes.
Last week we spoke to Matt Hector and he spoke about disappearing click. This is something that I've been working on more and more recently. And yeah, it's great. It's very meditative. So
run through how you have that set up and what exactly it is.
So
because we're bandying this phrase around.
Yeah, I know.
Some people might know what it is and some people might not. Let's bridge that gap.
Well, I'll tell you what I assumed it was. When you start playing and you no longer hear the click because you're so on it, And I'd never thought about that before. Whenever I've been practicing anything, I'm always, I'm in time with the click, but that's it. But then the more you kind of, get into a groove of something, the click will just disappear. If you're if you're hitting on the click, you can't hear it anymore. And that's my interpretation of it. And because when we spoke about it, you asked him, he said, well, what do you mean by that? So I've been working on some stuff with Pat.
Right, okay. Moment. Can I just clarify? So is that what it is?
I don't know.
Because I have a different interpretation.
What do you think it is?
My interpretation of it would be, and I might be wrong.
I think I might be wrong.
Is you start off playing with a click and you play 16 bars.
Yeah.
The click drops out and then it comes back in 16 bars later. And are you with the click?
I mean, that's
what I would assume it was. But it could also be, that you're just playing the same groove, that you're so on it that you can't hear the click anymore.
I mean, what you've just said is
because for me, the click dropping out and then coming back in, even if it's just for a bar, is really getting you groove into that click. It drops out and you just maintain that BPM, and then it comes back in, and you could vary the length of those gaps.
Yeah,
from 1 bar to 2 bars, 4 bars. That's what I thought it was.
Well, we don't really know. It appears.
Yeah.
I've just taken an interpretation of it. I mean, it can be whatever you want it to be. But my thing is getting it so, because basically I've been playing this thing with Pat where
Drums.
we've moved from the pad onto.
I've been playing this thing, and it's got these round things, and then these metal bits,
and these loud,
gold metal bits, and you sort of hit them. Been playing this thing,
and basically, if you really stay on something, eventually the click sort of disappears. That's my interpretation of it. And then if you go too fast, you can hear it come back, and you go, whoa, easy boy. Let's drag it back a bit, you know. And I've just been doing that, and it's like the funnest thing. It's something I haven't really done before. If I've been practicing before, I just like, yep, that's in time. But to really sit there and go like, let's make this click disappear. That's my interpretation.
So I have a thing slightly on a slight tangent from that. So I do a lot of studio drumming, and when Neil is usually, it's always Neil tracking me.
Yeah.
Right. When we're sound checking, he just wants like to start with like a standard rock beat, just on the hi-hat. Yeah. Hit hard. Nothing to. It doesn't want fills and loads of cymbals. Just a standard hi-hat beat.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of drummers have experienced this. The inner temptation is to just add a little fill, hit a crash, switch to the ride, make the kick and snare pattern more funky, add a bit of interest. But just going boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. And I will just, because that's all he wants. He just wants a hi-hat beat because he's checking kick and snare and probably overheads and ambience. Then eventually he will be like, you do the same thing on the ride, then we'll do the toms, etc.
Yeah.
But I will just, how long can I just play this simple groove without adding anything else?
Yeah.
Don't add a crash on the one. Don't make the kick and snare. It's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
To not be like, oh, just a boom, ga, boom, boom. Don't add that ghost note snare. Just, and I guess that's what I took from Matt saying, that just playing a simple groove for 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Really focusing on, because that when you start adding things, that's where you start to vary your tempo or things like that.
Yeah.
Can you just let that click get in your head and play that?
Well,
groove?
my thing as well with it, when he was on about the Benny Greb thing with the tightrope, it is that. It is, you're on the click and then you hear the click go one way or the other from what you're playing, and you go, right, well, which is it? Am I now ahead or am I a bit behind? Because it is such a small, I don't know, micro adjustments.
It's milliseconds.
And then, milliseconds. And then you get there and you're like, oh, I'm
unless
back
you're
on
shit,
it.
and then it's like years.
And it's way off.
4 years behind the click.
That's a long time.
Like Superman, you've gone
Olympics.
around the world so fast, you've gone back in time. So you're so slow, you're back on it.
Which is, probably a good way to be.
Yeah. You're lagging behind that gig. Don't worry, in 28 bars, I'll be back on it.
Yeah.
We might be on the 2, but don't worry.
Do you know what it's like? It's like when you're in the car and your indicator's on and it's in time with the music. You're like, oh, wow, it's in. And then it kind of goes out and you're like, oh, it's gone. And then it comes back in. Yeah. I like that feeling.
And you're like, I'm just going to keep turning left until... I was going to keep going anti-clockwise around the... Yeah. Hold on.
This is our exit, Ben.
Just need another loop to get it. We're in. 2, 3. Oh, I missed it again.
Right, I'm going to move on. Let's
what are the other 2 titles?
Slim, Thick, Heavy Hand.
Let's do Slim, Thick.
Okay.
I like this. I like picking the headlines. That's good.
I've been so excited to do another episode. I was like, when are we recording?
So
again?
excited. Elfie's moved out.
So Slim Thick. So I had a brilliant gig last Saturday with the 80s Hi-Fi. It was at the Brunswick in Hove, a place I played with them last year, and this time it was sold out. So, do you know what? That's a nice feeling. That's something that.
Is that because you were on it?
Like
come back. Yeah.
I mentioned it on Drum and Drummer, and then tickets fucking sold like hotcakes.
Yeah. And it's sold out. You do the math.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But no, it's a nice feeling.
Support Paul Weller all you want, but that's
Forget
not
Paul
why they're
Weller,
coming,
dude.
is it?
Yeah, no. This is it. They want to hear those 80s tunes. No, it's exciting because it's rare. I find that I have a gig where it's going to be packed because you never really know. So the gig was great. I'll just say that. It was the most on it.
Yeah, we've all done good gigs. Yeah, talk about Slim Thick.
So Slim Thick. So we were backstage. It's quite cool. They've kind of renovated the Brunswick and they've made like quite a nice backstage area now. And me and Dean were getting changed. So we're both topless looking in this mirror. And he goes, how would you describe our body type, George? He goes, because we're not like completely slim, but we're not fat, And he was like, we're somewhere in between because, it's like we're not, if you describe someone slim, It's like complete flat belly, and we haven't got a complete flat belly, but we're not fat fucks. You know what I mean? And he was just trying to think of. He was like, "What would you call it?" Like, and then he came up with slim thick. I was like, "That's it. There you go.
Yeah,
That's our body type." And after that became.
Whereas
our
I'm
phrase for
all
that.
thick.
All power. But yeah, with the slim thick
Chateau
boys,
Can.
one punch. Anyway,
Dr. Gupta.
great gig. That was it. I'll say quickly the heavy-handed stuff. So this is something I've observed over quite a while and just never mentioned on the pod, but I thought it was quite an interesting thing. So when I play with Ren, there's one song where I'm playing like a beat on the verse where it's like right hand on the low tom, left hand on the snare. And it's mainly just kick, snare, kick, snare. And the low tom's almost just keeping time and just adding a little bit of something so it's not just kick and snare. But I'm not absolutely hammering the low tom. It's like, it's not.
What would you describe that as? Adding the groove, adding the feel?
More texture. I don't know. I think a kick snare just on its own can be really sparse. Maybe
yeah, that's what I mean.
A
So
energy.
it's. I'm just thinking of what, a word.
I don't know, but it adds something.
I guess it's doing quavers, it's doing eighths, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pulse. Is it there for pulse? Is it there?
It might be there for pulse.
Obviously, on the floor, it has that. It's takes it out of the realm of cymbals.
I think
just keeping your pulse.
I think it's keeping the pulse, but it is adding some sort of low end element to it. Whereas if you did it on the hi hat, it would be a completely different groove, But more and more, I'm barely hitting the low tom because I still want it to be like kick snare, kick snare, and I don't want the low tom to come through. I don't want it to be like a low tom beat. It's not the Hives or anything or Jungle Book. It's not about the low tom.
And I wonder if they've ever been used in the same sentence before.
I don't think so, ever.
Yeah.
The Hives and Jungle Book.
Well, what do you want? Hives or Jungle Book? Well, neither.
You do a session with a producer who goes, just give me that kind of Hives Jungle Book feel if you can, mate. What?
But you'd know exactly what they want.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. Fast and on the toms.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about when I was, first doing gigs when I was 17 or whatever, and I feel like I used to twat the low tom, but not hit the snare as much because I didn't have as much of a backbeat. I think it was just because it was my right hand and it was my strong hand, and I was going, yeah, come on. And I don't know, it's interesting how the dynamics of the things you
At
hit
17,
change.
your right hand's strong.
Yeah, just a bit.
It's all the...
Read into that how you want. What?
It's all the writing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all the writing.
From school.
Arithmetic.
Yeah. All the essays. That's
Exactly.
That's what's built up that right
Yeah.
hand.
Cool, I did a lot of writing. Oh boy. But yeah, no, so when you're smashing away with your right hand on the low tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a completely different sound, isn't it? It becomes like as opposed to like da. It's like you're learning like, right, I'm playing a rock gig. You want it to be kick and snare, and then that can just add something rather than like, it's not Jungle Book. You know what I mean?
All the Hives.
All the Hives. Yeah, I don't know. I've never spoken about it, but I just found that, an interesting thing, like learning more and more about groove and like, I don't know, how loud should you play each
Do you know what
thing?
I'd call that?
Go on.
This won't surprise you because I said it before we recorded. Interlim dynamics.
Yeah, that's good, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
very
Your
good.
new album's called Slim Thick,
Yeah.
and my book is called Interlim Dynamics.
Yeah, interlim dynamics. But I remember learning it from a drum teacher, Jack Pollitt at BIM, and he was sort of discussing, like almost see it as numbers, like make the kick a 10 and the snare a 2, just experiment with that, or like change it up and just be like, right, how can I make this groove sound different? And I remember very specifically, I'll just say, doing it on a rehearsal once, where I did a long rehearsal for like one song. And I was like, right, I'm going to use this to really be like, let's just try every, I don't know, way I can play this one beat, let's try this version with a heavier hi-hat. Let's try this time with a heavier whatever.
I'd say
It's
on the
just
very,
interesting.
the very fundamental level, and I see this a lot on Reddit, and things. And where that interlimb dynamic becomes quite key is cymbals.
Yeah.
Definitely in the capacity of a gig where, the whole band isn't mic'd up, like a smaller gig where the cymbals aren't mic'd, but they're loud. So it's a smaller room or it's a smaller PA or something like that. So like cymbals will just be incredibly brash.
Yeah.
So you'll need to develop to be able to get punch out of your kick, snare and toms, but hit the cymbals a bit less.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. But there's a point of, I don't know, what's the phrase? There's basically a point of like no return with a cymbal where you start hitting it harder, it doesn't get any louder.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't get any better sounding.
No.
Is it diminishing? There's a point of diminishing return. I think maybe that's the phrase. So there is a level where if you hit a cymbal, it sounds brilliant, but hitting it harder doesn't make it sound better.
No.
But you might still be needing to twat the snare and kick.
Yeah.
So you have to find that balance of, if you're rocking out on the crash, if we're looking at the dynamic scale, I was going to go 1 to 5, but sure, we'll do 1 to 10 as your ex-teacher did. You want your 8s and 9s and 10s on the kick and the snare. But that cymbal is just a nice 6.
Nice 6, yeah.
Just a nice 6.
So
And it's a similar things. And it's also you have to think about what's the dominant force in this beat. What's the interesting thing? And for that bit of Ren, kick and snare is what's the defining point of that section, and the groove they're doing, and the floor tom is just colour.
Yeah, just colour, baby.
Just colour. So you don't need to twat it.
No.
But it is quite hard to disassociate the dynamics of each limb, as it were. So
well, I'll say 2 very quick things on that topic. When I went to see, if he's listening, Laurie, hopefully he hasn't fallen asleep, because I know he uses this podcast to fall asleep too.
Sleep well, Laurie.
Sleep well, Laurie. Wouldn't that be fucking mental if he's listening to go to sleep? Go to sleep, Laurie.
Woman.
Rest well, Laurie. We went to see the Darkness.
Wake up, Laurie! Wake up!
Get up! Went to see the Darkness, and we were watching Rufus, and he was Rufus Taylor, and we were going, God, his dynamics with the cymbals is great, because he doesn't hit them that loud, but the kick and snare is really on it, and he's a good example of that. Freddie Sheed as well. He's someone we haven't mentioned on here before, but he's someone I'm becoming more and more obsessed with. And he pretty much releases a video every day of him just playing, and he hits the drums like so lightly, but they sound amazing. And he kind of posted a thing about it the other day, talking about when you're recording drums, and it's like if you hit too hard, you do back yourself into a wall, and he says like you can play drums fairly softly and still have such a big sound that sounds exciting and energetic, and it's just interesting.
It's not all about limb movement.
No,
it's not all about. It's economizing technique for maximum returns. Is this a drummer podcast or a business podcast? Because I'm coming up with all sorts of bullshit phrases that can be associated.
Right.
But I'm the same. I think it's more through laziness and being fat. Where like I remember doing an Auction Thief video once. It was a DIY one. It was really shit. But I'm playing. I didn't have in-ears at the time, so I'm playing. But I think Neil's wife was like Ben looks really bored.
Yeah.
But I'm just not moving a lot. But I can still get a lot of power and attack.
Yeah.
From the drums, and I can just literally sit there still, but I'm still getting a good thwack.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see me just. You can get a lot of bang, bang. That's a hard hit, bang, but for nothing.
You're aware people can't see what you're doing.
I know. Well, you'll clip this bit out.
I will clip this bit out. We haven't got long before we do a guest. So what do you have to talk about?
I can quickly rattle through. Mentioning old boy Jackie O'Hicklin.
Jack Hicklin, the tennis pro.
Well, I met him in person.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He came down to the old Blacksmiths and we had a recording session.
Yeah.
working on some new promo for his for a function band he's setting up.
Yeah.
So we spent the day recording drums and bass.
That's
And
cute.
it was
How
lovely.
was that? Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, it was really nice. We had a good fun day. I hope he thinks so as well.
Mm.
And I'm gonna call him out here. I'm gonna
Oh,
call him
no.
out on one thing. He won't mind. He won't mind.
He might.
So he brought his kit. He brought his kit in. He had a Mapex kit.
Yeah.
It's a nice little kit. Had to tune that fucker up.
Mm.
Yeah, bit of tuning sounded great. Yeah, he has the same snare we have,
Oh, okay, cool.
the Power Sensor Tone. He went and got one because we got them. He heard us talk about it, right? And I put it on. I was like, I was trying, and it sounded a bit weird.
Mm.
I was like, something doesn't sound like mine.
Yeah.
So I looked on the bottom, and he had a EC2 on
Right.
the bottom. He didn't have a snare side head on.
Mm-hmm.
He had like a one-ply normal
Yeah.
batter or normal reso. And I was like, I don't think we should have this on,
Yeah.
the snare. So I got mine, and he was like, oh, yeah, that's much better, yeah. So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I think you need to change that. But lovely cymbals, lovely kit, good player, and we had a lovely day.
Nice. Cute.
So we got next day booked in to get some guitars and vocals done. But yeah, it was nice to meet him in person.
Yeah.
What else have I got? One of my function bands,
Oh yeah.
we're reforming.
Mm-hmm.
Not reforming, sorry, rebranding.
Yep.
The old ones, the Mumford & Sons style vintage bullshit is
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
It's dead. Throw the double bass and the banjo in the bin. So we, over Christmas and New Year, we recorded some new audio for promo. And on Friday, we went up to London and shot a new video.
Oh, London.
Yeah. Annoying. So I've got some clips and stuff I can give you for the Instagram.
Yeah. Do it.
But the one thing I really liked about this shoot was that they had a lighting rig, right? All set up, and it looks really good. We've seen the first draft; looks good. And they'd synced all the lighting up to the music.
Oh, cool.
So every time that track played that
Yeah.
we played along to, the lighting's exactly the same.
Brilliant.
So that's quite cool.
Yeah, that is quite cool.
And so like the lights would drop and then kick in when the song kicks in, or we do the theme tune to Friends, and when you've got the claps, the famous claps, but I do that on the snare. The lights flash, give 4 flashes.
Yeah.
I just thought that was pretty cool, and he was running that all through Ableton.
Good for him or her. Oh, you said him.
Yeah,
You're doing the theme tune to Friends.
yeah.
A few questions. Actually, one question. Why?
Why? Okay, so we want to mix up. This band needs to refresh itself.
Yeah.
We're going down to a 4-piece. We're getting rid of the acoustic instruments, but I don't want to do a band that just does your normal function band classics.
I don't want to just do songs. I want to do TV intros. Yeah. Malcolm in the Middle next.
But out of my 3 bands, the most popular is Freshman Year, which does 90s and noughties, pop punk, rock, metal, right? Tapping into that era. So this band is tapping into that era, but on the slightly pop rock side.
Right.
And nostalgia is a big element, and we're seeing a lot of people really digging that early noughties,
Yeah, fair.
late 90s nostalgia. For example, Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield is so popular these days. That song's 20 years old, but it was the song used on the theme tune to The Hills, which was on MTV. Friends has had a huge resurgence since being on Netflix. So we're leaning into that sort of thing. Busted, McFly, Alanis Morissette, Hanson. And I want to play songs that I enjoy playing. I don't want to do Don't Stop Believing and all that shit. I don't want to do like a dated function man. We will still do there's still a lot of stuff from the old set we will keep hitting.
Yeah.
But doing things like Ricky Martin and Spice Girls and hitting that 90s, noughties nostalgia thing. That's what we want to do. So,
Brilliant.
Friends theme tune. R.I.P. Miss Chenard LeBon.
Yeah. This is
Let's
it.
go. So, but that was fun. But just to that, so I fully played the drums.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone had earplugs and we were all on in-ears. Didn't have any dampening or anything on the kit. So I could fully play. It was really important. I had it loud in my ears and I could play the kit fully. And yeah, so we prepared like little minute and a bit clips of each song that we'd recorded. They're all going to get trimmed down.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so I'd set up a master playback, which was, it gave us a 4 or an 8 count in. Then we start miming / playing.
Yeah.
Fades out. And then it gives us another 4-bar click. And so it was like 7.5 minutes. And you just roll through that in one hit. And there was 2 camera operators. We maybe went through it about 8 or 9 times.
Yeah.
And then the last take, all on the drums, baby.
I love
There I am, the only one on stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's good.
Fantastic.
So, that's good to, I think because that band, we could have let it die because it just wasn't very busy. But we decided, there's life in the old dogs yet.
Yeah, big time.
But it needed a rebrand. And,
nice. Well, fantastic.
Yeah. I did some more drumming for Archie in the studio.
Yeah.
Ones I did a few weeks ago, Neil's done the mixes, and I used my new snares, the Yamaha recording custom, and the BDC Big Softy. Oh, yeah, they sound good. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I think. Oh, did I write something down? I write something down. Maybe I. Oh yeah, that's it. But your video went out, didn't it? The one we did here.
Yeah.
Of you doing the Ren cover. Did that get posted on our Instagram?
No, I don't think so. No, but no, it's just nice, as I said, just to put something up with me playing.
Have you used it?
Huh?
Have you used that video in any capacity to have you actively sent it?
No, not yet. No, but
I watched it the other day actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I thought I watched the whole thing on YouTube. It's good.
Thank you very much.
I was like, I just want to check my mix isn't fucking awful.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, it sounds good.
That's all right.
It was an interesting one because I didn't have to fully mix it.
And you know me. You know, you'd have to be like, what's this client going to be like?
Yeah.
If anything, I'm probably worse because you do know me. It's like,
oh, can we use another snare?
You know. No, the plan this week, I've got a few days off. I'm going to make a website and it will be on there. And just so I have more things to send when I'm on my hustle.
Is your logo going to be your name as a signature?
No, it's going to be it's going to be like a heavy metal logo where it looks like trees and you can't really see what it is. That'll be it. But yeah, just hustling, boy. Just hustling.
Yeah, you're hustling, boy. Yeah.
I'll just say quick because in 10 minutes we've got a guest. I won't.
Which is coming out next week, by the way. It's not.
Yeah. It's not today.
If you think there's a guest now, no, we're just
really long intro. For
we
a guest.
pack them. We pack them in because George is hustling.
I'm hustling.
You know.
I'll tell you very quickly. So I'm on this WhatsApp group with a guitarist, and it's all drummers apart from this one guitarist, and he said, "Oh, I've just turned up to a theatre."
How did he slip through the net?
Wow, good question. I won't go too much into it because it might become apparent what the show is and stuff. But he was doing a theatre show, quite a nice theatre, and said, "Lads, have just turned up, and the drummer is awful. He is rubbish."
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. So.
And I
it wasn't me.
And I said, "Well, if you need a drummer, let me know." He's like, "Well, it's a week-long gig, and yeah, it's every night." I was like, "Yeah, just let me know." And then later that day,
Elfie wants me gone. She'll love this.
Later that day, he was like, "Yeah, they fired the drummer," and instantly I privately messaged him like, "Mate, get me in, get me on this show." And he messaged, he said, "I'm really sorry, like the MD already had someone in mind, like, and I don't really know him." I felt embarrassed asking. I was like, "It's okay." But, do you know, just kind of that energy, just more of that energy this year. Do you know what I mean? Be like, right, who's got what? Give it to me. Do you know what I mean? Give me the gigs. Anyway, right. Should we wrap up?
Yeah, let's wrap up. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. Say bye-bye, George.
Bye-bye, George.
Good. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.